Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this evening. We are celebrating the summer of love at the Perfume Shop, and we're finally starting to be able to reconnect with our loved ones, and it could be that you are looking to connect with somebody new, to meet that special someone. So tonight we want to give you some advice about dating or how to reconnect with your loved one, because it could be that, in lockdown, things have been a bit of a challenge for you. But we're also going to talk about how you can boost your confidence through the use of perfume as well. Now, we are really, really excited to be working alongside Anna Williamson of Celebs Go Dating. Anna, how are you?
Oh, good evening. I'm really well, thank you, Lee, and welcome everybody as well. Yeah, it's a good evening. It's a good evening to be doing this, because I don't know where you are, Lee, but it started to tip down with rain. So I think this is the perfect time. Yeah, we can sit in, we can have a little Facebook Live together, do some smellies, and I think, honestly, I'm really excited about this. I've always wanted to learn more about perfume because it's so important when it comes to our confidence and self-worth.
Well, hopefully we're going to be able to do lots with you. Oh, and my volume's gone now. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what was happening there. I was like,
listen, it was seamless.
Technology.
It was seamless. Look, do you know what, Lee? I think, let's be honest, I think since this pandemic, I think when it comes to technology, everyone gets it. Because I think if anyone hasn't had a child walk in the middle of a live Zoom or a Facebook Live, something going, then we haven't lived.
Well, we're certainly living the dream now.
Yes, we are.
Now, I saw you on our Instagram page earlier, and you had some great advice for everybody watching. Can you tell us a bit about, our partnership and why we're working together?
Absolutely, yeah. Perfume Shop and myself, what I do is sort of the perfect marriage, really, the perfect date, shall we say. As you say, I do Celebs Go Dating. I'm a dating coach, relationship coach, and I'm also a life coach. Sort of really is sort of my umbrella of what I do. And we talk a lot about self-confidence and self-esteem, which is absolutely key when it comes to dating and relationships. That inner self-confidence, that inner self-worth. And I talk a lot about, faking it to make it. If you've have a bit of a rubbish day at work or something, but you're heading out on a date, well, don't go out there in your scruffs, looking a bit rubbish, maybe ponging a little bit of, of the unwashed of the day, because guess what? You're going to feel rubbish. And you're not going to give your best to that date. And I always talk about being the best you possibly can to your date, because if that's what you're looking for, because you would expect that in return. And scent is an enormous part of that. Our pheromones, since the dawn of time, that is our animalistic behavior when it comes to mating. I mean, dogs now, I've always seen dogs sniffing each other's backsides, aren't we? Thankfully, as humans, we don't do that. But
No.
thankfully not. But scent is such a huge part of attraction, of lovemaking, and that's where perfume comes in, And when I talk to people about being their best self, going out on a date, it is all about, for me, it's the cherry on top. I feel like I've missed something. I'm a bit naked if I've gone out and forgotten to wear my perfume, if I'm going out on a date with my husband, or even if I'm going to work. If you want to feel confident and kick butt today. And that's what perfume does. It's a really important part of us. I think everyone loves perfume. Everyone loves perfume.
And sometimes it's not even about the scent that you wear. It's about what the other person wears that can attract you, because our sense of smell is such a subliminal thing. It's happening without us even realizing. And sometimes, you get that great attraction to someone. You go, oh my God, I love what you're wearing.
Well,
sometimes you're a bit like,
yeah. Well, this is it, and it can repel you, or it can magnetize you, can't it? And I mean, I think I know I'm not alone here. That, I mean, I would like to point out I'm very happily married, but sometimes you're walking down the street. Well, we've started to walk down the street again with around people, but you'll catch a waft of someone, and you're like, whoa. That is a sexy scent. And honestly, Lee, I have been known often to stop men in particular if I like their smell and say, I'm really sorry, but what smell are you wearing? It's quite a common thing, because I want to buy it for my husband. Whether or not he'll suit the scent, I don't know, but it really does. It goes, wowee, that's working.
And there's no better compliment that you can get than having someone stop you or tell you how great you smell.
Right? Because let's be honest, smelling bad is not fun.
No one wants that. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's so important. It is so important, though. I think, and it defines you. I mean, I think I've got a best friend of mine that she's worn I can't remember which, I think it's Poison actually. I don't know who that's by. Who's that by? It's a real retro
Dior,
perfume.
yeah, Hypnose.
Dior. Yeah, she's worn that donkeys literally since the dawn of time, and she doesn't just spray once. And I want to know later on actually what's the optimum amount to spray. She goes like, honestly, it's like she's spraying a can of Febreze.
Well, someone who wears Poison is someone who's going to wear a lot of fragrance. You can,
you can smell her before you see her.
Do you know what? That's that's always one of my favorite things. Someone comes through the door before you see them and you know who it is. But I was just going to say, we'll go into a little bit of the science and some of the technology behind how fragrances are kind of created, and how you can use those to kind of, create the impact that you want. But I know everyone's really excited to hear what you have to say. And I've got a friend who's just come out of a relationship after years and going into this whole new kind of, landscape. There were no dating apps. There was none of this malarkey,
No.
None of, you had to go, out with your mates, to
yes, go to another pub and hope for the best on a Friday night.
Go out on the pool. You'd have your mates kind of like going, look, he's looking at you, look pretty. Yeah. Do your hair flick.
Yeah, that's it. Do it. Oh, bring back the 90s.
But how would you start giving someone, say for example, my friend, she's gorgeous, she's just come out of this relationship, been single in lockdown.
That's tough.
She wants to dip her toe back in, and it's a minefield. How would you kind of like start the process of trying to build that up when you've been shut away for such a long time?
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it on the Instagram live earlier. It's like any learned skill. Like us talking now. We've all become very used to talking through a screen, and face-to-face talking is a skill that a lot of us have lacked in over the last 18 months. I myself, I'm a professional gob on a stick, and yet even myself, going out and about and talking to people face to face is still something I'm getting used to again. My skill set. My first thing when it comes to dating, and going back to that, virtual dating really took off over the lockdowns, and virtual, in my experience, and I did a whole Celebs Go Dating virtual series for that as well. It's absolutely got its place. It really has. And I think, I know that now virtual online dating, any sort of stigma or snigger or taboo around that has gone. And I think it has a very useful place in dating. It will never and should never, in my opinion, ever replace face-to-face dating, because it's the one thing you can't get through a screen is actual tactile getting together, and you can't smell them through a screen, but it definitely has a place. And I would say to your friend as well, the first thing you need to think about getting the dating scene is what you want. Okay, it's all about self-empowerment. Remember, too many people think of the other person when they're dating. Are they having a good time? Do they like me? What do they think? Think of yourself and actually put yourself back in that driving seat, and remember how kick-ass you are, how great you are, what skills you've got, what qualities you have that someone would be lucky enough to have and to share. So it's all about putting that self-confident hat on and reminding you. And lots of time we're talking about confidence tonight, and people are saying, I've lost my confidence. How do you get that back? Literally affirmations. Remind yourself about what you're great at. The fact we've all survived 18 months in a pandemic, I know for a fact every single one of you will have had a rough time at some point. Congratulate yourself for that, what you've gone through. And also have a think about what you want from the dating scene. Your intention is really important. Now, because your intentions will be completely different. A lot of people's intentions have changed completely as a result of the pandemic. They may have pre-pandemic wanted to meet someone, settle down, have marriage and kids, and now they might just think, do you know what? I just want to live. I just want to meet people. I just want to get out there. And there's people that have got the opposite. They're sick of being single. Now they've realized the importance of love and settling down and making a home, because we've all been making homes, haven't we? And they want to find that person to do that with. So the intention is really, really important. What do you want? And when you have set in stone what you want, that is what you will attract. So perhaps you do want a relationship, perhaps you just want some fun, perhaps you want a casual fling, perhaps you want a friend with benefits. All of that is completely fine, but you need to seek that. Otherwise it just becomes this big just overwhelming mass of where do I even start. And quite rightly, people get absolutely fed up to the back teeth of, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pointless hey messages coming in from people that just haven't got the same intentions as them. So if you make it clear that you don't want time wasters, you're looking for a relationship, you will hopefully sort through a lot of that chaff once you've started. So yeah, the kind of the key points of that is drill down who you are, what values you have, what's important to you in life, and what you want from a relationship. And once you've got that, online dating definitely has a place for it. And also looking into places where there's like-minded activities or hobbies and that kind of thing. That's where you're going to meet people that have similar values to you as well. So that's where I would start to cast the net. And also a massive, really underplayed resource is your mates. I know we always say to your mate, oh, set me up. But you know what? Tap into your friends. If they got some sexy colleagues, lots of people have changed jobs during the pandemic, loads of people. Lots of people sadly have lost them, you know, but you know, there's always new people coming into your mates' lives. You know, keep asking. If they got, if your mate likes them, chances are you might like them. So that's kind of where I'd start.
Use your network.
Use your network. You know, get a friend to introduce you. You know, have a little scroll on their Instagram on your friends, and is there a friend there that you quite
Slip into somebody's DMs. I did DMs with shoes when I was dating.
Same, and I loved my pair of DMs. I felt very cool.
Now, what are the common mistakes? What are the things that you would say, you know, are the general things that people, you know, we don't want to be too neg, you know. No,
we won't be neggy. No,
you know, where can we kind of try and overcome some of the things that people tend to do wrong?
Yeah, people just tend to lie, basically, and I think that's the main one. But I would like being generous and kind, lying with good intentions, because but there's no point saying you're 6'4" if you're 5'6", because guess what, you're going to get found out. You know, there is no point sticking the profile picture of you, you know, of 1996. You know, it's just not going to go down very well. And I think this is the thing, the biggest mistakes people make are not being their authentic self. And this is what I say to people, that not everyone, but a lot of people seem to sort of stick to this, oh, you know, I need to fit a stereotype, you know, I'm sociable, you know, insert biog, I'm sociable, I like to hang out with my mates, I like to go and, you know, have cocktails on a Friday night at insert swanky bar. Guess what? If everyone did that, it'd be a really boring world. And chances are you've probably tried that already and you've not actually had any success. Guess what? If you like, I don't know, mountain climbing up Everest and playing chess in your spare time, then that's who you are. And I'll tell you something, there'll be someone else out there that also likes mountain climbing and playing chess, who's also fibbing about going out on Friday night and having cocktails. If everyone's fibbing, no one's finding out their true selves. Therefore, no matches are going to be made. So have the conviction to be honest about who you are, what you like, what you're into, what you can offer someone. And I tell you, all it takes is that one match to go, that is the girl or man of my dreams. Because yeah, I'm a bit of a geek too, and we can be geeks in paradise.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm not going to comment on my own love. Like I've been all there and done some of that.
Oh well, I think we all have.
Sometimes I think it's about actually just being brave enough to go out there and do it, and learning sometimes a little bit about the mistake yourself, you know, because you can meet someone and think, oh, actually I didn't like that bit, and you know, you find out a little bit about yourself on the journey as well, don't you?
Every time. No date is ever wasted. We say this on Celebs Go Dating. You know, there is no such thing as bad feedback. There is only feedback. You know, that's what we learn from, and it is really, really important. But being authentic, that really is the main key. And that goes, a lot of people have messaged me, and I've done a lot of things on, you know, on telly and on radio, people feeling very nervous coming out of the pandemic. Some people are still quite COVID anxious. You know, there's a very varying degree of people who are okay with the whole COVID situation, some who are really nervous about it still. Perhaps some people are shielding still, or vulnerable, whatever. And again, be truthful about that. You know, be truthful about that before the date. If you're suddenly getting nervous about, oh, what if it goes well? Do we hug? Do we kiss goodbye? You know, what's the situation? Outline that without sort of being, you know, like a sergeant major. I will not be hugging. I will, you know, but in conversation when you're setting it up, you know, there is a way of weaving it in with a, you know, just want to check the parameters here. You know, just a little bit COVID cautious at the moment. So I'm not hugging at the moment, but really looking forward to seeing it. It's that kind of thing. And it's just laying those boundaries down in a really subtle way from the off. And again, that's just being your true authentic self.
And what what kind of length of time would you advise for like a first date? How, you know, if we say, right, okay, Anna, I really like the sound of you. I think you're, you know, just the type of girl that, you know, for me, which would be weird, but
never say never.
I don't think my boyfriend would be very happy about that.
Never say never.
What, you know, if I was thinking, oh God, you know, how long should it, you know, should I say dinner? Should I say, you know, just a coffee? What would you suggest would be the ideal type of situation?
So first date, I think, is don't involve food unless it's just some nibbles, you know, bar nibbles, because you know what, food just is another extra complication. Your hands, teeth, breath, face, you know, it's just something else to think about, isn't it? I would say the optimum first date, a coffee is usually a good idea. Usually a good idea because I'd say keep your first date to an hour, 2 hours max. Because if it's not going very well, it's not that much time. And if conversation's drying up, well, you know what, it naturally comes to a bit of a close after an hour, at, you know, 2 max anyway. Thank you for your time, sort of bye. If it's going really well, you just leave them hanging for more. You're just waiting for the next date. So I would say a drink in a bar or a coffee is usually a really good first date, but always keep it to no more than 2 hours.
So we've said, you know, that it's been quite a challenging time for everybody and people's confidence levels might be not what they were. How would you kind of, you know, just give some people, you know, a tip on how to kind of get into the right mood, mindset, or to, you know, just bring some of that confidence back?
Yeah, I think remind yourself of your achievements. You know, remind yourself of what you've done, what you do, what you stand for. I think friends and family, the good ones, are also really good at reminding you of that. You know, if you really have lost some confidence, a lot of people have, don't be afraid to, it's not fishing for compliments, but it kind of is, but with a good intention, and just saying, look, you know, my confidence is pretty low at the moment. You know, I'm really struggling to pull it out. Ask them, you know, what do you like about me? You know, what do you think makes me a good date? What are my qualities? And actually, just that positive affirmation of your friends going, oh, you're really loyal. You're all right, laugh. You are, you know, or you know what, you've never let me down. And all those things, remind yourself, hopefully through yourself, but other people, to remind you actually what makes you brilliant and why you are great. And everybody is unique, everybody is good at something, so find your thing that you are great at, and hold on to that.
Amazing. So we are going to be talking about some fragrances as well, so we're
Yes.
going to be talking about how that can change your mood and how, you know, it can enhance how you feel about yourself. And I was gonna, I don't know, do you know how your sense of smell works, Anna?
Well, isn't it to do with taste?
So your sense of smell is actually, you have an olfactive memory. And this is where it's quite subliminal. So you have millions of follicles in your nose that when you smell something, it's connected to the emotional side of your brain.
Right.
This is why when you smell something, and if you have a wonderful experience while you're smelling that scent, then it will go to the pleasurable side of, you know, the memory, the olfactive memory. If you smell something and then all of a sudden, you know, something, you don't have a great experience or something traumatic happens to you, then that goes to the kind of less pleasant olfactive memory. So I would always say to somebody, if you're you know, going to go into labor, do not wear your favorite fragrance, because you will never yeah.
It's a very good point. I can't remember what I wore.
It's not, I probably wasn't top of your list wanting to spray.
No, I think probably the one time I didn't put any perfume. I think I actually tell you to do that, actually, thinking about it. Probably.
But it's one of those things that, you know, we all remember, you know, our loved ones' fragrances. So, you know, whether you have, you know, your mother or your grandmother,
my nanny, grandma, Chanel No. 5, baby, all the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's those ones that you kind of think, it will take you back in a second. Subliminal thing. Now, what we also know is that within those fragrances, you'll have common ingredients. Now, you know, in Chanel No. 5, they have lots of different ingredients. You know, there's the secret formula, but there will be certain fragrances that are like it that you will have a connection to. So, you know, you might smell something and go, oh, actually, I really love that, because there's something in there, perhaps there's the tuberose in it, that connects it. So
Interesting.
We have, you know, our fragrances, and each fragrance is in a different classification. So what we're going to do, I've got some fragrances that I've chosen, and I want you to smell them because you haven't smelled them yet, have you?
No, I haven't. So they've been sent to me.
I'm
got them all lined up. But yeah, I'm excited about this.
So
way better than wine tasting.
We're going to smell the fragrances. I'm going to tell you why I've chosen them, and I'll tell you the classification of them. And I've got a few aphrodisiac ingredients that I'll be telling you about as well.
Okay.
The first one that I want you to smell is Very Good Girl.
Okay.
This is by Carolina Herrera. Now,
I mean, that's the packaging or what?
Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, you know, if you're wanting to be, now I would describe this as fearless and fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're going to wear a shoe like that, then you are going to go into your date rocking it, aren't you?
Right, exactly. This is not apologizing for who it is.
No, it's sassy, it's quite sexy, and I want you to spray it. So you can spray from the top.
I do it in the box, like you said.
Yeah,
this is
we
such
didn't
a
give
good
you
tip.
blotters, did we? We didn't give you blotters, so I would always.
No, that's okay. But I think the box idea I like. I think it's a great idea.
So I if I don't have a blotter and I'm spraying something, I always spray it inside the box. So
such a good tip. That is such a good tip. Right. Okay. Oh my gosh, I know so many people that wear this. As you say, it just straight away, the olfactory kicks in.
Yeah. So what you've got
is lovely. That's sexy.
Yes, as I said, fearless, fabulous. So
vanilla in that?
There is vanilla in that. Well done. Very impressed.
Thanks, babe.
So you've also got a hint of that, and vanilla was in the base note. So you've got quite a good nose to pick that up straight away, because a fragrance is structured with top, heart, and base notes. So the top notes, they tend to disappear quite quickly in the first 20 minutes. Then the heart notes is the real kind of theme of the fragrance. And then the base notes is where the perfumer will actually start. So it's like a fragrance pyramid, we call it.
So that's why, obviously, when you first spray it on, sometimes you can be a bit like, ooh, no, not for me. And then, because I always do this, I go into the shop, the perfume shop, obviously, you have a little spray, you're like, oh, no, not for me. You walk out, then half an hour later, you're like, oh, I love that.
Yeah, actually, that's really lovely.
Yeah, once it settles in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We call it drying down.
Oh, drying down. There you go. Lingo and all that.
So yeah, this is a floral fruity. So it's kind of quite fun and kind of quite, I think, it's certainly, you want to go in somewhere confident, then this is a great one for you.
Do you know what I'm thinking? This to me just smells of sexy, low lighting jazz cafe type night out.
Marvelous.
Like you wouldn't want to wear anything other than a sexy dress wearing this perfume.
Exactly. So
truly.
So
love that.
Florals are the biggest classification. So you have lots of different types of florals. So you've got fruity, you've got citrusy, you've got a floral bouquet, you've got
big category.
So many different ones. The floral fruity ones, the one is a category that's kind of like become a little bit more fashionable. So about 10, 15 years ago, they were a little bit more of the celebrity fragrances, but now they've kind of moved into, a little bit more sophisticated. So next one, Jimmy Choo, I Want You.
Oh, I can't wait to smell that one. Oh, I love that Carolina Herrera. I'll get my packaging. Honestly, all this packaging as well. I mean, all the effort that goes into that. Now this is a giveaway. It's a sexy one, I think, because of the packaging. It's red. It's red and deep red. It's lipstick red, Yeah. So, all right. So then, should I spray in? So there you go.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Now this one. Oh, what do you think of this?
I like it. At first smell, I thought it felt quite unisex, but actually now it's not at all. So this is quite, I don't know what the word I'm thinking was. So for me, this is a bit too rich and deep, if that makes sense.
Right, okay.
Sort of fudgy, chocolatey.
So this has got
It's nice, but
green and peach in it. Now, what
oh,
it also has is jasmine. Now, jasmine is quite an opulent fragrance, and it's possibly one of the more sexier of the fragrance notes. Now, when you smell jasmine on a hot day, or if you go on holiday,
yeah.
you get that kind of real kind of presence of that scent. So this classification is an Oriental fragrance. Now, we were talking earlier about, you know, sometimes you can smell someone before they come into a room.
This is one.
Oriental fragrances are those kind of that are a little bit more seductive, more sexy, more sultry. So,
and it's so true, isn't it? Because I can think of people now who wear these sort of sultry scents, and actually, yeah, you know, they really own it. You know, they really own it.
so I would say this is quite alluring and quite glamorous.
I think so.
It's kind of pulling somebody into, you know,
Oh yeah,
towards you. So this is, I would say, this is like a second date fragrance.
absolutely, absolutely.
You know, you've kind of, you know,
Yes, you've done the first date.
I'm,
I'm ready for business now.
yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, now we're going for dinner, and you know,
Absolutely get that. Yeah, this is like we're in.
yeah,
I mean,
we're
I'm
gonna have a
interested
cocktail.
enough. Yeah, we're gonna have a cocktail. We're gonna, yeah, that is a, yeah, completely agree. Like that.
Right, now, then the next one we're going to try is Michael Kors Gorgeous. Now, this is one of our, this launched just a month ago, and this is selling so well for
Is
us.
it?
Perfume shop. So
Ooh, lovely
in
packaging.
our top 5, really beautiful.
This is in the top 5, is it, at the perfume shop?
Yeah, so we're doing very
no pressure. All right, let's give it a go then. Oh, marzipan. That's the first thing I smelt. Who do I think I am? Honestly, I think I'm from.
I'm getting marzipan.
Yeah, I'm getting marzipan. Oh, I like that.
Now,
dry down.
Now, the 3, which is your favourite?
That is lovely. Do you know what? It might be the Carolina Herrera, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, hang on. Now this is settling in, dying down.
I thought it.
You thought that?
Yeah. Now, knowing what, because you mentioned.
I do like it.
Can you tell everybody what your 2 favourite fragrances are?
Yeah. So I like Prada, Iris, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
And Hermes, L'Heure de Méditerranée, which are both quite florally, quite light citrusy scents. Both of them are.
Knowing what you kind of said, I've kind of looked at the ingredients and I thought, yes. I thought out of the 3, this would be the one.
Can I just say, and you're spot on in the sense that actually, so I'm looking, so down here, that I can whiff notes of those 2 perfumes. Like I can absolutely tell they're related, if that makes sense.
With Michael Kors Gorgeous, this is a woody floral, which is very to the ones that you like. And this has jasmine, but it has it in the top note as opposed to being in the heart note, which is quite unusual. And then it's been kind of, we also have some mandarin in there. We've got bergamot, which is an Italian citrus fruit, which is
a bit of bergamot,
that Mediterranean feel that you like.
Yes.
And then you have ylang ylang in there. So very calming, really with orange flower again, which is another really beautiful Mediterranean floral. So I kind of thought, yeah,
you're bang on. You're bang on with the Michael Kors, because I'm married to a Mediterranean as well. So you're absolutely spot on that. I actually, honestly, all 3 of these, get them all out. There we are. There they all are. 3 of them. I love it. What I associate with all 3 of them is romance. All 3 of them are absolute. Yes, that's it. Like it fit in my dining room right now. It feels pretty sexy. Is all I'm going to say. My husband's going to come in here later. He's like, "Oh my gosh, what's been going on?" But yeah, I can. And that is such a great insight as well into those ingredients, because yeah, it makes complete sense.
So I mean, with the Michael Kors Gorgeous, what you have is this very beautiful bouquet of white florals. Now, when you use things like jasmine, tuberose, and orange flower all in the same fragrance, it can be quite heady. What they've done, they've actually used other ingredients to make it very, very feminine, very subtle, and it has a slight powderiness to it, but not in a, you know.
Yes, there is that light powder. Yeah, totally get that.
The way that I would describe it is that it's quite empowering and it's quite invigorating. So this is, you know, if you want that confidence booster and you want to feel like, you know, just that little bit of empowerment, and you want to feel that fresh, not too heady, not too kind of, you know, too opulent, this is a really perfect fragrance. And I think it's great for a day or an evening. So if you were going to a date, you could, you know, have this, that you're going to start off, you know, throughout the day, and then just top it up as you go through.
Yes, love that. Pop it in the bag. Do you know, I had a question come in, and lots of people have been saying, you know, which scent would you recommend to wear on a first date? So would we say the Michael Kors Gorgeous?
I would say
first date. I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's a great fragrance because it's an all-rounder. It's new as well. And I think sometimes what you want, you want to go into a date and create new memories.
Love that.
So you
absolutely
don't necessarily want to, you know, go into your date and then you're, you know, wearing something where you've worn it before with somebody, or
actually, if you get something new like this, you also then reduce the risk of your datee having dated someone that's been wearing it before.
Absolutely.
And associated memories with an ex, because that does happen. So I think I've done it in the past. You know, you date someone, like, oh my God, no, that my ex used to wear that. You're gone. You know, you just can't. So actually, that's a good shout. Get a new scent, new memories. Love that tip, Lee. Love that.
So, you know, and if you're not sure, you know, about what to wear, as I said, you can use the fragrance finder on the website. So you could type in, so you just go to our website, and where it says men's fragrance, women's is, that's not a word, women's is fragrances. Go onto the drop down menu and you'll see the fragrance finder is there. So you can go in and you can type in what type of mood, if you're shopping for yourself or someone else, and then it will come up with recommendations for you. So if, you know, it'll give you the newness. Now, there's no better way than trying it yourself. So obviously we can now go into stores and you can actually, you know, speak to our experts. We have, you know, amazing, you know, experts in store that can help you find that right fragrance to kind of boost your confidence. And they will ask you the right questions to get you, you know, they will narrow it down and help you choose.
That's so important. It was my 40th a couple of weeks ago, and actually my mum had that dilemma because she was in the perfume shop, and she was just like, oh, I don't know which to get, and she got some good advice, and really good advice, because I think a lot of people do stress. They, you know, it's a lot of money to buy perfume, you know, and they want to buy a nice one. It's a lovely gift, but as you say, you don't want to get the wrong one. So that's why it's great you've got that facility and the training and the people to be able to offer that.
Another thing that we also have is a try me. So online, you can buy the fragrance, you can get a miniature, and then try the miniature, and if you don't like it, you can return the full-size bottle within 90 days.
That is a great thing. That is brilliant, actually.
We do try our best.
But honestly, I'm not just saying that, because that has actually happened quite recently, where you get a perfume, you don't want to open it, because once you've opened the cellophane, you can't take it back. But you don't want, so you've got to then schlep in to go and find a tester somewhere to go and smell it.
Exactly.
You know, that honestly, well done. Whoever came up with that. It's the simple things which actually make the most difference. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
So should we have a look at the boys now?
Let's have a look at the men. What my husband's going to be wearing next? Yes.
I've got my opinion as to which one I think your husband's going to like. So again,
okay.
I'm going to off. Or what you actually, did you know that 80% of male fragrances are bought by women?
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Because I bet your husband will say to you, I'm nearly out of that now. Can you get me some more?
Every time. Guys seem to know more. Like, I'm sorry to be stereotypical here, but in my experience, guys seem to know more their scent. They're like, oh, I only wear X, Y, Z. I've been wearing it for 20 years. Exactly.
And what you tend to find with women is that women will have a wardrobe of fragrances that they will choose a fragrance for their mood or their occasion.
For work, or even
Work
my said friend with poison has a house perfume. She has a house perfume.
Absolutely.
I mean, who has a house perfume?
Your friend.
Clearly my friend.
But you would, it could be on the color that you're wearing, and you want to wear something light, so you would choose a lighter fragrance. Men have traditionally been very much, I've worn this since I was a boy. I will wear it until the day I die.
Yeah, like my husband has a day perfume, like day aftershave for work.
Yeah.
And then it's a going out one. So you know if we're going out because you smell the going out one. Yeah.
It's like, you're in luck tonight. I'm wearing
exactly
going out perfume.
That's the one that's still very full.
I love it. But what we are seeing is a shift with men's tastes now becoming more sophisticated. So what you tend to find is that men's fragrances would be launched in an eau de toilette, and then they would perhaps have an eau de parfum, or the more niche fragrances would have a parfum. Men like a fragrance that lasts a long time. They want to spray it in the morning and come home at the end of the day and still be able to smell their fragrances. So their palette has changed. So we are seeing more of a metrosexual man who is, having a few fragrances on his in his bathroom cabinet.
Nice.
I'm going to start off with the Prada Carbon.
Yep.
So this is Prada Carbon Luna Rossa. And this is an aromatic fragrance, an aromatic fougere. So this, I'm going to let you spray it and see what you think.
I'll faff it up. Oh, I like. Oh, I love.
You like this one? So this, again, because you like the this will kind of take you to that place, because you have lavender in there. There's some geranium in there as well. Lavender is used a lot in men's fragrance because it's very on the skin. Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, I know it sounds like an odd question, but obviously every fragrance smells different. But Guy's aftershave has a Guy's sort of general whiff. Do you know what I mean? What is it that gives it that Guy's whiff as opposed to
what's tended to happen with men's is that men's fragrances is that you'll find one fragrance that performs very, very well, and then all of a sudden everyone will try to replicate that. So other brands will try the success of the number one male fragrance. So then you get a lot in the same classification. So you tend to get the same kind of smells and the same fragrances that are out. And then with women's, because there's so many different classifications, you get a lot more variety. So there's a lot more options. But what we tend to see is, the lavenders, the aromatics. We've gone through a woody sense now. And the number one fragrance at the perfume shop is Dior Sauvage.
Is it?
Now, Dior Sauvage is a great combination of freshness, spiciness, and woodiness. So it took 10 years to develop. And the number one male fragrance. And, it's taken a long time to create, and it will take a massive fragrance launch to knock them off that top spot.
Really, that's
what you tend to find that the men's class fragrances, they do have that longevity. So Sauvage has Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, Jean-Paul Gaultier,
classic.
So these are the ones that guys tend to like because it has that longevity. So
this is lovely. This smells, I mean, it's in a nice way, but quite soapy, like clean, like really clean.
Yeah. So the way I would describe it is quite refreshing and quite sophisticated. So, it's got a great kind of sense to it. Now, the next one we're going to smell is a good old classic, because, I thought you might have a gentleman who's a little bit older, who's back into the dating scene.
Well,
Hugo Boss. So Boss Bottled, Hugo Boss.
Yep.
That one.
I mean, this is a classic, isn't it? I mean, this is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
My husband wears Boss, actually.
And Hugo Boss is a great brand because they have Hugo Boss, they describe it as almost wearing your favorite suit.
You just can't beat Hugo Boss.
So with all of those different interpretations of Hugo Boss, find something that fits you. So that's
lovely.
This is the classic kind of woody scent. So
yeah,
it's quite powerful, quite vibrant. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is the face of the brand. I mean,
say no more. Say no more. I mean, guys, if you're going out on a date, you want to spray this little bad boy. I'm telling you, this is what. To be fair, the Prada is doing it for me as well. Lovely, absolutely lovely.
So the last one we're going to spray is the new Invictus.
Bit of Paco Rabanne.
Bit of Paco Rabanne. And this is Invictus Victory.
Interesting packaging.
Very interesting. So it's obviously, you know, the
trophy.
Yeah. See what you think.
Oh, I do like aftershaves. I've decided I like them all. Oh, now that I'm getting something different here. I'm getting sandalwoody, musky.
Well,
is it sandalwood?
She's good.
Is it? Yes. See, look, can I come and train with you, Lee?
I know you can.
I'm so into scent.
I'm just gonna give up. You can do this.
Yeah. No.
So what you've got here, this is Oriental fragrance. So this is the only classification in men's and ladies that crosses over both genders. So again, this is a little bit more present. I would describe it as strong. It's captivating. If you want to kind of come across as being quite an unstoppable beast, this is the one that you could kind of
strong. It's but not in an offensive way. I'd say it was more masculine, but then only maybe because I've already pigeonholed it as that. It's very nice.
So, you know, we've got the three classifications there. You've got the aromatic with Prada Carbon, scent with Hugo Boss, and then you've got the Oriental with Invictus Victory. So which one would you put your husband in this evening?
Oh, hang on. I think it might be the Prada, you know. I'm going to go Prada. They're all really nice. Yeah, did you know it's going to be Prada? Yeah, it's Prada. That when I won whiff of that, let me tell you now, Lee, I was like, he's in love.
Got a new date one, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He actually has. That's really nice.
I mean, I've just rediscovered this myself, and you know, I had to put it on the list because, you know, after working in the industry for a very, very long time, you see lots of fragrances and lots of newness come through, but sometimes it's about going back and revisiting something that
it's the classics.
Actually, I've not tried it, so I'll give it a go. I've missed the boat on that one, maybe.
Yes.
And you find a new favorite.
That's lovely. That's really lovely, especially as I like the Prada female version. So
exactly.
You know, there we go.
Family, aren't you?
Yeah, we are a Prada family. That has been so insightful. These, honestly, all six of those, and this is why you're the absolute best at what you do, because every single one of these scents is a date perfume. You know, it's a great date perfume and aftershave.
And it's very much about trying to find the right scent for the right occasion and the right stage of your date, because, you know, you could end up wearing this on your first date and on your wedding day, and then become the anniversary present that, you know, is bought every year for you.
That's it.
So, you know, that, as I said,
that's what's happened to my Prada one, because it was my wedding perfume, and now that's forever. I will be wearing that, you know. And
it will always take you to that day. Hopefully. I mean, you know, some people have one for all of their weddings.
Never say never. I've got a few lined up now, thanks to you. So thanks.
that's the one who has a proper fragrance.
yeah.
So I'm going to try and I've had a little bit of a technical issue, and I'm trying to find the comments.
That's okay. We may. I mean, I've got a couple of questions. We may not. I mean, I can't see the comments. If we, hang on.
I can't seem to find them. So
no, don't worry. Maybe it's in the chat function might not be working. So that's fine. That's fine.
So if you have some questions, I will probably have some questions for you as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we've got about which scent would you recommend on the first day? Well, I think Lee you've brilliantly actually answered that. Oh yeah, this is did I do the one about oh no, I don't think I did. I think I mentioned to you before. So I had it from a gentleman that says it's not really about dating advice, it's about me not liking myself. You know, how can I like myself more? You know, and I'm really sorry to hear that, but you know, a lot of people, you know, are pretty down on themselves. And, you know, we've talked about this at the beginning a little bit, haven't we, Lee? You know, and it does obviously relate to dating, but it really does relate to yourself. Like, dating starts with you. And like when we do Celebs Go Dating, we always start on the person. It's like, right, you might think that in 3 minutes time, we're going to send you out on a date. We might do, but first of all, we're going to find out about you, because we need to strip down to who you are. And I think I've said this quite a few times, but to this, you know, gentleman that said that about liking himself, it is about, I mean, without going into sort of the psychotherapy side of it, working out, you know, what might be going on there, you know, any negative trauma or, you know, behaviors that may have occurred. But it really is just tapping into who you are. I know this sounds really cheesy when I say about being kind, but I think we are our own worst enemies sometimes. We can give ourselves a hard time. Should have done that better. You know, oh, I shouldn't have done this. You know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know, all the time. Guilt, mum guilt. You know, I think just sometimes give yourself a massive break and just remind yourself what you have managed to achieve under whatever circumstances you might be in, and how great you are, you know, what your talents are. And people make mistakes. You know, people have bad things happen to them, but you know what, if you're brave enough and strong enough to be able just to pick yourself back up again and get back on the horse, then every credit to you. And you know, like I said, we've all done that with this pandemic, and a lot of people's self-esteem has been waning. And I think, you know, when someone not liking themselves, it does tap into what we're doing tonight with the Facebook Live. You know, it's about making yourself feel good, and making yourself feel good does tap into how you look. And I tell you now, I mean, I talk a lot about the physiology of you. You know, anyone that's sort of sitting, you know, shoulders hunched, you know, head down, looks sad, looks depressed. You know, shoulders back, head up, smile. You know, you feel better. So sometimes it is about almost faking it, because if you pull yourself physiologically into a better place, actually a lot of the time it does work. Like, you know, how many people say, oh gosh, I really can't, I feel so miserable today, I can't bother to go for a walk or go to the gym. And guess what, they go and they feel so much better about themselves when they come back, and it's because they've actually just pushed themselves through it. So I would say just be kind to yourself, and you know, do whatever makes you feel good about you. And if that's, you know, taking care of your appearance as well. I think when we feel sad and don't like ourselves, we neglect ourselves. You know, reverse that, make yourself look great, and then you should hopefully feel better too.
Amazing, great advice.
Pleasure, babes. Oh, pleasure. I'm just trying to see what else I've got in. There were lots that came in earlier as well. Have you got one?
I'm having a look.
Don't worry, it's fine. No.
I'm going to check to see on our.
I've got oh, actually, here's what I didn't do earlier. From a guy as well. It says, a girl I'm speaking to takes way too long to reply and then keeps apologizing for it. What do I do? Now this is an interesting one, because it sounds a little bit like cat and mouse. Dating, you know, we've a lot of us have heard of the terminology of ghosting, you know, where someone literally just drops off the face of the planet, which is one of the worst things to do. If you're not feeling it with a date, just be polite and tell them, like, you're never going to see them again anyway. So at least have the common decency of saying, you know what, actually, it's not really for me, but thank you. You know, always thank someone for their time and their energy and their efforts in you. But if someone takes ages to reply and then keeps apologizing for it, they've obviously recognized they take too long to reply. I would say just politely call her up on it and go, what's that all about then? You know, well, you know, because some people do just take ages to message back, and that's just their way of how they do things. But if she's apologizing for it, she knows that she's taken too long. So I would just be really honest and go, you know, is everything okay? You know, maybe she's, I don't know, works long hours, or she's a carer for someone. You know, you just don't know until you ask. So I would politely, I wouldn't go all guns a-blazing, because then you look rather strange and very unfair, but just say, yeah, just, you know, is everything okay? And, you know, do you not like to message? And sort of take her lead on that one. But I think messaging, Lee, I don't know about, I mean, you're obviously very happily ensconced as well. But I think messaging is always a big hot topic. People never know when to message, when not to message, how long to leave it, how not to leave it. You know, all this game playing. You know, and I'm not a fan of the game playing. I'm saying, if you have your good intentions, don't bombard someone with a million messages. Don't keep checking all the time. If your phone is, you know, if it's tempting to look, don't pop it in another room. You know, go stick it in a phone jail or something. You know, so you can't be tempted. But equally, if you like that person, tell them you had a great date. Tell them you had a great day, you'd like to see him again. You know, don't wait a week. Sometimes
it's about how ready somebody is as well. Like how open they are to, like you said, it's about their mindset, and are they in the same place as you? And I think that was a great piece of advice. So what do you want? Because absolutely, you know, it's okay to just want to go out and have a laugh. It's okay to just want to even just, you know, have sex.
you know, with
Yeah.
no strings attached, you know, if
Is
I know,
it?
but if everyone is, you know, fully consensual adults and they just want to have a bit of fun, you know, then that's also okay. You know, it's not for everyone, it's not for me, but it is okay. And I think it's exactly that. But it's having the honesty to say that, because where a lot of disconnect comes is where someone thinks one thing and the other person thinks the other thing, and neither have got the courage to actually lay it on the line because they're worried about coming across too needy or too keen or whatever it might be. But you'll never know, because you just end up in this cycle of what ifs, and basically, you know, chewing the ear off all your mates on WhatsApp going, what do you think he means, or what do you think she's doing, is she playing me? Ask the question, and there's a way of asking it without sounding needy or you know, too pushy. It's just, you know, really enjoy, for example, you know, really enjoy your company. You know, I'm looking for someone, you know, that I'd like to settle down with. You know, I'm not getting heavy with you, but, you know, I don't know what your intentions are. If you're up for just fun, then actually that's not just what I'm up for. It's just being honest about it, and I think we need to be more honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great piece of advice. And I think, you know, what would you say, you know, if you're uncertain, like you've been on a few dates and you're kind of like, oh, you know, how what advice would you say to someone to kind of feel out if they're ready to go to the next level? Because, you know, sometimes it's a case of how do you broach that subject if you're kind of like, you know, you're moving along, it's all going fine and you don't want to spoil it, but actually you're starting to get a little bit more serious. And, you know, you're kind of like, are we girlfriend, boyfriend?
Right, that big thing. Yeah, I think there is no, in all of my research doing this, and I've got a book on dating relationships coming out next year, funnily enough, there is no formula for that. Most relationships seem to segue in naturally, and there comes a sort of, when you're getting on well with someone, you know what it's like, there is that mutual chemistry, you're sort of dancing this little salsa together, you know, figuratively speaking, and you know you're on the same wavelength, you know you've got the feels for them, they've got the feels for you, you know, the butterflies whenever they message you, you know, and back, and you know, drop a few little subtle bombs along the way, you know, just so you can kind of get that confirmation you might need that actually, yes, they're thinking the same as you, you know, gosh, you know, I'm not dating anyone else. That tends to how it kind of happens. It's sort of going from that you know, dating to being exclusive, you know, that's the very Love Island terminology. But you know, when you decide that you're not going to start dating anybody else, that's usually the cue for, okay, we are heading towards boyfriend, girlfriend. And what normally happens is someone will end up dropping the boyfriend or girlfriend word or partner word at
Heaven forbid the L word.
Oh, the L word, I know. But they'll tend to do it in a kind of conversational way, like, I don't know, say work drinks. Oh yeah, is it right if I bring my boyfriend or something like that? You know, and it tends to be done in that way. But yeah, some people
I had to use the word partner.
Did you?
Yeah.
Not boyfriend.
No, it was like boyfriend's a bit juvenile.
I know, there is that thing, isn't there? But then I've sometimes used partner, and then people think I'm gay. And so I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't know why I've used partner. But I mean, you know,
it very rarely happens the other way around for me.
I think that's lovely now in you know, just where we are now in life, you know, that it is, you know, whatever goes, you know.
Now, one of the things we did mention earlier was, you know, for those people that have been they are in a relationship and they've struggled a little bit in lockdown, need to kind of, you know, try and find a little bit of the love back again. What, you know, just to finish this off, what would you kind of, you know, say as a tip there?
So we've all experienced, I mean, you're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, you know, even the best relationships in the world are going to have sticky points and will have had sticky points over the last 18 months. Some people have absolutely really found themselves in their relationships, and that's amazing. A lot of people have sadly, you know, broken up as well. I think the general consensus is that, you know, relationships have had their spats over the last 18 months. You know, people have been fed up with spending too much time together. And that's a real thing. I think people, first of all, need to give themselves a break with that, because as animals, as humans, we're not designed to be in that close proximity to one person or a couple of people. We're pack animals. So if you have been or have just, you know, become really a bit blasé about your partner, A, it's normal, but B, How you need to rectify that is effort. And it sounds really simple and really obvious, but the best advice, and I know it sounds quite a negative way of putting it, but relationships take work. And I think whenever, and I don't mean that to sound like, that doesn't sound very fun and sexy, but actually it's really true. And it takes equal amounts of work all the time. If you are not constantly keeping the spotlight on your relationship, then you're going to leave yourselves wide open to things starting to get a little bit rocky. And it has to be done in equal measures. So we have to do it, my husband and I. Easily you can suddenly put each other to the bottom of the pile of priorities because life and everything else takes over. So to find the love back, I do what we call break state, change up from the norm. We all have done enough Netflix and takeaways to last us a lifetime, haven't we? And my God, we tried to make them as romantic and sexy as we could, but that's about all we were doing. So just try and change it from the norm, and it's like, even my husband and I know we have kids, it's not easy, but we've tried to introduce date nights now that we can go out, and that doesn't mean you have to spend a fortune, because money isn't plentiful either for a lot of people. But like, even if we literally just go, we live near a local pub, even if we just go to the pub together and just have a drink and someone's looking after the kids, it's reconnecting that adult time and allowing yourself. Too many people get guilty about it and go, no, you have to put that focus in and find the love back. And what I always do, one of my little tips is, if the love really is waning and you're struggling to get it back, take yourself back. It brings us full circle really to the sensory experience. Play all your senses into one, close your eyes and remind yourself of the first time you set eyes on your partner, or the first time you said I love you, or whenever it may be, the most romantic memory, and remind yourself what you fell in love with, what you loved the most, and take yourself there and let them go to the same place. And that can really help just vortex you back to actually why you're together.
Amazing, brilliant. Now, one of my team is messaging us and she's telling me some of the questions. We've got a couple of questions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're okay. Question from someone: what advice can I give to a friend who's struggling to find someone new?
A friend trying to find someone new. I would say try the dating apps to start with. I think they're but really specific. Don't go on loads. I'd say pick two. Pick one free and one where you pay. I'd say that's generally a good rule of thumb. You get a few extra perks from the paid one. People tend to think it's more considered daters. It can be, but equally free ones are equally just as good. But choose the dating apps that, like I said before at the beginning, where it matches your intentions as closely as you can. There are certain apps out there that are more designed for quick hookups. There are some apps out there and websites that are designed for more long-lasting relationships. Do your research and pick two that really fit to what you want. Get a kick-ass bio and go for it.
Brilliant, amazing. And we've just got a couple about Perfume as well. So
great.
It really is the finishing touch to the outfit. So you think about all of the time that you spend choosing your outfit, doing your hair, making sure that you look just sharp or as gorgeous as you can be. Then choosing the right fragrance is really, really key. So it can be totally the finishing touch. And if you were looking to wear a fragrance to get the most out of it, then we would generally recommend you spray it on your pulse points, just anywhere that generates heat. So ladies, the crease of the elbow, also the backs of your knees.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, and Coco Chanel always said, wherever you want to be kissed. So I always say, if you're wearing a jacket, everywhere. Men kind of shower, but spray it inside the jacket if you're wearing a jacket, and then when you take it off, you're going to get this lovely kind of waft of the fragrance as well.
Love that.
So another tip is to spray the fragrance into an arc and walk into it, so it kind of falls into you.
I do that.
You should always spray a fragrance about 20 centimeters away, and never like that. You should let the fragrance come out in a fine mist and let it settle on the skin, and that's how you'll get the optimum. And don't do this.
Oh no, don't do that.
So don't do that, because you're actually breaking the fragrance. So there are a couple of fragrances that you are supposed to do that, but general rule of thumb is not to do that. And if you want to make your fragrance last longer, make sure you're well moisturized, because it will lock into the skin. So
great tips.
Some tips from me. But what would your top 3 tips? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh gosh. For
first date.
First date, top date. I would say pick out a great outfit, but not over the top. So be your most sort of usual, authentic, so the best version of yourself. Okay, I always say go for like Friday night drinks with your friends type of outfit. So make the effort is what I'm saying. Don't be a scruff bag. I would I would say choose somewhere a date sort of environment that is both mutually agreeable. So if you don't like going to bars, don't go to a bar, you know, choose something else. And then third, hey, it's got to be, you got to make the effort, put those finishing touches on, whack on a nice lippy, a nice pair of heels, a little man bag, and whack on some scent.
Amazing. Anna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. It's been great.
Me too.
Enjoyed listening to your advice and enjoyed hoping maybe going into store and trying some of these fragrances out that we've been talking about. So I would love to know what your husband thinks of your choices.
I'm gonna go literally in a minute. I'm gonna start spraying him. I'm gonna spraying every limb and asking which one he prefers. But I think it's gonna be the Prada.
Do the box test. Do the box.
Yes, I will. Yes. Thank you, Lee. I've learned so much. I know everybody else has, and honestly, it's been such a pleasure and a privilege, you know, to be teaming up with the Perfume Shop. It really has.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely evening for the rest.
You too.
And everybody else, have a great time. So
thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Get out there. It's the summer of love. Go for it.